Calvin looked like a villain. I just want to start off saying that. I felt like that needed to be described. He looked like he came back and he got real beef with Simba. That's all I'm saying. What's good, y'all? It's your boy Pat the Designer back at it again. We got the squad in the building. Yeah. Appreciate y'all for tuning in and showing love. Hit that like button. Subscribe to the page. To the left here, the super producer Joe Holt, who's not paying any attention to the show here.
I am too.
We got JC in the building, C-Dub in the building. I believe the pettiest man alive is on his way, but y'all know his schedule. All right. Hey, on today's episode, what is the Bears' biggest focus over the next 3 weeks? You know what I mean? There's a lot that the Bears could focus on. I think a lot of decisions are probably already made, but if there's going to be something that you really want to see this team focus on, what is that going to be? Got to talk about that. Also, looking at listen, we keep harping on the quarterback position, but there's a lot of changes that probably needed to be added to this team. What are those as well? And is continuity the right answer for this team? And then finally, listen, at the end of the day, are the Bulls good? Just feels wrong. Just feels wrong. Maybe Joel will finally watch a game. All that more in today's episode of the Windy City Breeze Sports Talk Daily. Hit that like button. Subscribe to the page. Big shout out to all of y'all that didn't realize that y'all were not subscribed to the page today. That video this morning where I was like, hey, if y'all ain't subscribed, go ahead, hit that button. Has over like 150 subscribers on it. So big shout out to y'all. Big love to everybody showing support to the channel. Let's keep this thing pushing, man. Boys, first and foremost, how y'all feeling today, man? It was perfect.
There you go.
Four squares was perfect. He's got it. Are you drinking out of a World War II tin cup?
Mash, baby, mash.
What the heck is that? And it's freaking that mug is like your internet hates you, basically. How you got worse internet than JC?
Hey man, don't do it. Was a one-time deal.
Get my sound effects going.
So we had sound effects in the background. I didn't know what was happening, man.
Deal, baby.
You see, there's a lot of people in here. Let's see if we can do. Oh, that's not bad, actually. Hey, that was actually slick. That was pretty good. That was pretty good. Y'all like that, boys. What are we focusing on over the next 3 weeks with this Chicago Bears team? There's a lot that we can get into, but like I said, I think a lot of the big decisions are probably already made with this team. What are you guys focused in on or with this team over the next 3 weeks now to finish out the season?
Wins, Pat. Wins.
I'm not mad at it. Like that's a legit focus. Like winning the next 3 games to me is still important because no matter who's here, you want the team to know how to win, something that they didn't know how to do this season.
Yeah,
I want to hit the ground running on understanding how to close out some of these important games, especially with this defense.
No, in all actuality, all jokes aside, wins for Justin Fields. You know, these are the playoff thing, all that stuff. That was great. That was pie in the sky, whatever. But the conversation of Justin Fields is still there. The conversation of who our QB is still there. Hey, go out and ball out. Ball out, Justin. Like realistically, whether it's for here or your next city, which again, I've always said Chicago just may not have been ready for Justin Fields, which is how I really feel. We didn't have the right situation for him. We didn't have his number one. We didn't have the same incubated situation as other people we compare him to. That's not fair to him. So like put out some good tape. And wherever you go, I wish you the best. If it's not in Chicago Bears, if it's here, just let's just show that evolution. We got 3 teams that we should be able to beat. I just want to see him put out good tape. That's all it is.
Definitely got 3 teams you should be able to beat. I mean, coming in this week, the Cardinals. We had Ed Smith, former Falcons player, covers the Cardinals on the Chicago Bears podcast this week. He said people keep asking me how to beat the Cardinals, and my response is always, "Well, how do you want to beat them?" You want to run the football? You want to go deep? You want to throw it medium? What's your go-to style of beating football teams? And I think that's kind of, you know, like coming into this week, I don't even know if the quarterback question is still there. I think that they have that kind of hemmed up, right? I think that for fans, Justin Fields playing really well over the next 3 weeks might change something, but I think that whether he's staying or whether he's going is a decision that the Bears are locked into. The thing that I think may actually be a question here that could play out over the next 3 weeks is what is your offensive play caller going to be next year? Because y'all know I am not a Luke Getsy fan. I think that he can dial up some really good stuff. Right? Like there are times in the game where it's like, wow, that was actually a really good scheme that you dialed up there, but it almost feels lucky at times. Right? It almost feels like, oh, you stumbled into this.
Who was the young lady? Was it Leah Romani? What's her first name? Layla? She's a sports writer.
Layla Rahimi.
Rahimi. There you go. She mentioned something about Luke Getsy that I totally just overlooked. She's like, he's one offensive play caller who doesn't sit in the box.
Yeah.
And I was like, she right. He don't sit in the box. And that area of view be helping. Like, I don't think he knows how whack his screen passes is, because to him, it looks like a forward pass. but from the aerial view, ain't no way in the world that screen pass look good. So I'm just saying, like, maybe he needs to sit in the box.
A part of me feels like
that's a little bit of a stretch, but I get what you're saying.
Man, listen, as somebody who can't do it professionally up there, I gotta lean on something. So
I mean, the last 3 games, it's pretty much over. I think they kind of figured out what they have. A good defense in the sense, average coaching on the head coach side, as well as the play calling. You can pretty much see the offensive line of it is what it is. I think they've seen the flashes in Fields, so if they want to keep him and build with him, there. So I don't think there's anything else of like maybe seeing a couple other players develop. Like we've seen Jalen Johnson come alive. We've seen just a lot of the players of what they want to see. They're pretty much who they are. So now winning games, all you're doing is just changing the draft pick, because I think they've kind of figured out what they want to do. They had a chance to win. They didn't. They had a chance to control their destiny to a point, and they didn't. So as a GM, I don't think there's not a whole lot. I mean, it would be nice for Fields to have 3 consistent games of 250, yards, 300 yards, and multiple touchdowns, and just to give the eye test for the calm down. I think, like you said, the fans, because everybody doesn't realize. I do think Fields has made some mistakes, but it's also because it's still some things that he can work out, but he's got the ability. So I think we're pretty much where we're at with the team.
I think that if you're going to go in a different route, because I think we always talk about quarterback evaluation for the last 5 weeks. So, that's been covered. We know what we want to see from Justin, just like everybody said. But my point was going to be kind of what Joe mentioned somewhat, is maybe pinpointing on Jalen Johnson and seeing if he continues his progress as being one of the better coverage corners along with the interceptions. Let's see how he closes out this season to see whether or not he's deserving of a contract or even getting tagged, whatever the case may be. Do you want to see him here next season?
Yeah. For me, it's more like, okay, like kids say, I want to see Fields go out and win out, and this benefits a lot of different ways, right? Him winning out. So if we're going to keep him, honestly, this gives you more of that trust, more of that, okay, you know what? We possibly got a guy, we got a sure thing. We can go ahead and trade back these picks and build around Justin Fields. Right. The other hand is if they already made up their mind, they're going to get rid of the coaches, they're going to get rid of Getsy, and it's time to draft a new quarterback, at least this builds Fields' stock up, right? Because you want to try to get as much back as possible for him.
Yeah.
So you need him to play well in his last 3 games for whichever direction the Bears decide to go in. Personally, I would prefer them to keep him. I think, there's so many pundits on TV and there's so many former athletes that are telling you that Fields is that guy. He's just set up the wrong way. So, I think if we keep Fields and build around him, we very well will have a situation like Philadelphia had with Hurts. And I think that's the direction that they should go in. And that's what I'm hoping to see over the next 3 weeks is the Bears continuously grow. This defense looks good. And then I love the fact that Jalen Johnson doesn't want to go anywhere. So, this is the direction they should go in.
I think it's interesting too, because, right, like you brought up the player side of it. Me and Kid was literally just talking about this on the phone. It's going to be really interesting to see kind of how Ryan Poles thinks, right? Because I don't think we've heard one player say Justin Fields can't be that guy. Justin Fields can't be a next level player. And I think like that's what to me always gives the Fields fans hope on, what Justin Fields can be in the long run. What is he going? Because when you got players that play the game looking at Justin Fields and going, nah, bro, he's the truth. y'all just suck. Right, like then it's like, all right, wait a minute, do we suck or do they like? Does he suck? Like that's the toughest part about all of this. And so for me, right, like over the next 3 weeks, no matter what you want. By the way, 56 people over here, hit that like button. Stop playing with us, man. 15 likes on the video. Let's get them
And
likes.
subscribe.
Yeah, these views is kind of whack right now. These views,
buttons.
whack.
Subscribe.
Subs, whack.
These
These likes, whack. I need y'all to get these likes up, my G. Like,
it's
what's happening right
just funny to me though, because right, like we're gonna see what Ryan Poles really is, and no matter what side of the equation you're on, right, you should be rooting for Justin Fields to do well, because if you want the Bears to get rid of him, you don't want them to get rid of him for nothing.
You
Right,
can't
like
get
you
a
don't
second
want to
round
get
pick
rid
if
of
you
him
trash.
for a 6th-round pick, so you want Justin Fields to win. You also don't want him, like if you want him to, of course, if you're a Bears fan, right, and you want to see success, there's some people that are out there that's like, I want Justin Fields, but I want the higher pick. Yeah, that don't go together. That math don't math. If Justin Fields loses out the next 3 games, you ain't getting Justin Fields, right? I think that's all. But, right? Yeah, that's all but confirmed. So it's just. I think that the next 3 weeks of this season, to me, when I look at, kind of where's the next step for the Bears, my biggest concern, and this is kind of the second topic on the show, are we gonna sit here and hope for continuity to be the savior?
Nope.
Because right now it really feels like Matt Eberflus has saved his job. And even though I've said it, Matt Eberflus has probably saved his job, but it's in the mindset of knowing who the McCaskies are, knowing, right, how the Bears have operated. Are the Bears going to do things differently is what we saw this season. Just okay, right? The defense is great at times, except for in 3 of the 6 games that they've played in the last 2 minutes of the game where they've lost 3 games.
I think it's
Right, like if that's Alan Williams, we're like, you're fired. But because it's Matt Eberflus, we're like, well, he built it. He's turning it around. Like if Alan Williams was still here and did that, we would be like, you have to fire Alan Williams.
I think there's probably 3 scenarios, right? It's everybody comes back next year for continuity's sake.
Oh, God.
Either you fire Getsy, right? You keep Eberflus, and Getsy's gone. It's kind of like the Lovey thing. He made it by the skin of his teeth. And then there's the third situation: clean house, get a new coach.
He went 11-5 his second year, though, Joe. I mean, so that's a big difference.
No, I'm saying how they were. There was multiple times Lovey got ultimatums and was they wouldn't extend him. They kept giving him these 1-year deals, but that's the point. The point is that he kept his job. He got to get a new coordinator. They got to make these changes. So, the issue would be that is there a sense of long-term security, because unlike with Lovey, they would give him these 1-year deals, and he couldn't get a coordinator that was supposed to come here. And if he knew, I got 2 or 3 years to be here versus I got 1 year to maybe turn this around, or I don't have he didn't really have that coordinator didn't have the talent to do anything with that. What was the enticing? Why would they be enticed to come here? So it would be interesting. I mean, you know what I want, dun, 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 dun.
And I think that's the interesting thing, right? When you talk about
I'm go ahead.
You still
Go keep doing it.
Hold on now. And go.
And he's still flowing with it.
Come here. Come to Hallis
Hey,
Hall.
this is the Scottie Pippen and Jordan moment.
Point to the stadium behind you.
Come to Hallis Hall. Come here. Come to Soldier Field, Lakeshore Drive. Come here.
I think that's the interesting thing too, right? Because it feels like there might be an opening for a couple of coaching candidates that are big name candidates at a minimum, right? Listen, I really like Mike Tomlin. I really like Mike Tomlin. The reason that I'm very hesitant on Mike Tomlin is because every year we sit here and talk about Mike Tomlin and what he don't have because of guys he hired. Mike Tomlin hired Matt Canada.
Coach.
They didn't give Matt Canada to Mike Tomlin. It was like, try him out. Like Mike Tomlin hired Matt Canada. Mike Tomlin hired, right? Like, and not to say I'm never gonna knock anybody that wins a Super Bowl. I don't care how you get it done, right? But a lot of people in the Pittsburgh community do view his Super Bowl as the team that what's his name? Bill Bill Cowher built, right?
He got
So
two.
it's
It's like John Gruden and Tony Dungy. I think that, however, you can learn from that. Like,
yeah, but John Gruden turned the quarterback. Even with Tony Dungy, Buddy was a piece of garbage. John Gruden turned the quarterback into a Super Bowl caliber.
No,
quarterback.
he did. He did.
Yeah, that's a different scenario to me.
But we don't. I trust whatever Poles is doing in terms of his scouting or whatever this vision is. We don't know what they want.
Ryan
right?
Poles just waiting for the next black dude to be on the market.
Ryan Poles knows exactly what he wants. Ryan Poles.
No, I said we don't know.
Yeah, we don't know what Ryan Poles wants.
We don't know if their vision of a quarterback is it that, okay, we like Fields, dude, we gave you a shot, or we don't know if they're like, we want a prototypical quarterback, pass first and then maybe run, and we're trying to get Fields to do that, or are they saying, hey, look, maybe we'll pivot this and get a coordinator that can really, capitalize on his talents. I think he will get to that passer that we all want, but it's going to take a little bit for time. But Mike Tomlin, I mean, a coach is the CEO of the team, right?
Yeah.
So for the most,
and Mike Tomlin is literally the CEO. He's not calling no plays.
Yes.
He's not setting no schemes. He's not like, he's probably a part of the conversations, but like
defensively, he's part of that conversation for them.
Or he's
whatever teams coach.
But whatever the identity is of what
Mike Tomlin,
want.
not a defensive coach. Mike Tomlin's just a good leader.
He's in those rooms with him. I'm just saying.
I mean, he walk in all the rooms. Who gonna keep him out?
Yeah, I don't know. I
keep him out.
Who gonna keep him out? Mike, no, don't come up in here.
I would just hope that. It feels nice if they're talking about bringing in a quality head coach.
Yeah.
If it's a Tomlin, if it's pie in the sky, Bill Belichick, if it's Harbaugh, or are we stuck with now the third-year head coach learning how to be a head coach?
I don't want to Bill Belichick here.
Yeah, I don't think that's pie in the sky anymore.
Bill has kind of, the game is past Bill up. And what I mean by that is the type of coaching that Bill is known for just doesn't work with this generation of player, in my opinion.
I agree, but then again, just like Tomlin, what about the players that you have? Once the quarterback goes away, all of a sudden, Bill Belichick is trash.
Mike Tomlin has a much better reputation with current players, young and old, than Bill.
Mike Tomlin came in at the right time. Like it's a different era for even Mike Tomlin now. Like when Mike Tomlin came in, it's hilarious what he said. He's like, I had the same music on my same music on my iPod as everybody that was in the building.
Mm-hmm.
That ain't the case no more. Now Mike Tomlin is Joe, right? The old dude that hangs out with young guys.
Wow, Joe. God.
I was invited. I was invited. I did not.
We do like it. No, but I think here's what I will say, right? I always say you got to be careful with the game has passed this guy by, because we could sit there in the season and say that the game has passed somebody by. That was the exact thing they said about Tom Coughlin before he led 2 Super Bowl runs.
By the way, Bill Belichick.
The fluke was that?
Big
definitely engaged show on that one, baby. What is happening?
You was watching Adam Sandler movies before this? What the heck was that?
No, what's the name? Bill Belichick though had multiple roles, right? Now, if he actually comes and actually plays head coach versus trying to be the GM and all this type of stuff, and he kind of sits back, look, we'll work with you. Well, let us get the groceries and you can help cook a little bit, but you're not getting all of it.
Yeah, but just like with Harbaugh, don't
what
you
Bill
think
Belichick you talking about?
Yeah,
huh?
I said
he's going to want his hand in all the cookie jars.
Yeah, come on now.
But he may not. He might. The thing is that might not be available. To your point, you're no longer the Uber coach, GM thing. Like that doesn't work. How many coaches have we seen that? Gruden tried that. Like I said, Belichick has had that.
It worked
for Gruden.
For Bill Belichick.
For Bill, it did.
We honestly have to talk about, like, this is the thing. We have to talk about Bill Belichick as not only one of the greatest head coaches of all time, but also one of the greatest GMs of all time.
Okay, but my point is that if his time is over in terms of his voice, like I see what V-Dog was saying, I'm agreeing with you, V-Dog, in the terms of a new scenery, a new change of voice. Like it's the same old rigmarole, right?
Yeah.
Andy Reid leaves Philly. He's been a successful coach, couldn't win the big one. He leaves Philly, goes to Kansas City, and they have not had a losing record.
Yeah.
But he'd been there a long time. It's not like he's done. So the idea, first of all, this is all, conjecture or whatever. Like, who says that Tomlin's leaving? And
Yeah, I don't believe. I mean,
don't
let's
think
talk about it. I don't think they're gonna fire him. I highly doubt Mike
Yeah.
Tomlin is gonna end up getting fired. Pittsburgh's on coach number like 4 for his.
Yeah, they really let go of their guys.
Yeah.
Like,
And the thing is that it's also tied to they don't have a good quarterback. I mean, hello, Ben Roethlisberger gets old and then retires. Now all of a sudden he's not a great coach anymore. Like, they need a quarterback.
Yeah.
They're looking for a quarterback. They are trying to figure out, how to get this offense and that team going. But they'll be fine. They've done a pretty good job of building their defense. It just takes time and it's cyclical. So for us, I don't know. I'd like to see. All I want is like, this is our identity. This is what we're doing, and they're doing what they're supposed to be doing. It looks like they're going to build this offensive line the right way. If we can get that going, go ahead.
I just think the conversation of like the conversation right now is keep Flus because Flus is good enough.
No,
that shouldn't be the conversation. And to me, like, yes, has Matt Eberflus done a great job as a DC? Sure, but I can't overlook the fact that your defensive coordinator got fired and another coach that was working with him got fired. And those were guys that you interviewed in the building. That's your mistake. Just like for me with Mike Tomlin, Matt Canada, that's Mike Tomlin's mistake. Alan Williams is your mistake. And Courtney Cronin was talking a little bit about, kind of all the jobs that he's had to take on and how he's kept the team afloat through all of that. And it's like, well, yeah, but he got to take them jobs because he did a bad job at his job. So then he had to take on somebody else's job. Like, I think those are the things to me where, listen, a good coach changes the culture immediately. That is one thing that I know. You bring in a good coach, it immediately changes the culture. It immediately shifts the culture. Oh, Justin Fields has to learn a new system. Who cares if it's the right coach? Oh, my goodness, the defense is going to have to reset itself. Who cares if it's the right defensive coordinator? Now, I don't want to reset to a 3-4, right? Like, I think you're literally a 3 technique away from building a elite level defense.
Why? Now. You keep saying that. We don't have the D-line yet to get that done. All we got to do is move. You don't want to move Sweat to outside linebacker.
You want Sweat to be looking like Justin Jones out there, and that's what I don't want.
I didn't say that. He's still going to be a lot. The 2 defensive ends on that 3-4, they're going to be blitzing. They might do a little bit of coverage, but the big jumbos up front, we don't have, because we don't have a 3 technique. If you go on pivot and get a big nose tackle, who's the guy that gobbles up?
We got a big nose tackle.
His name is Billings.
His name is Andrew Billings. We already got a big.
Okay, then shift him. It's very easy because he's okay. But my point is that
Joe playing Madden. Joe, like, just change the things you've done your entire life, and you'll be fine. It's like
they're football players. If you can scheme well, it has been done. But I'm just saying it hasn't fully been built yet.
Yeah, it's usually done by getting rid of half the people you got on your team, though, because they become a lot less important. Remember when we switched to a 3-4? And we literally just was like, all right, so
we had nobody.
You're fired. You're fired.
Who do we have?
Get out.
No, Urlacher retired. Who do we have?
Urlacher retired because he didn't want to play in a 3-4 because it's not as easy to switch to. Lance Briggs retired.
He got old.
Peanut Tillman left.
They got old. That's what happened. They could have played if they
kept playing.
No, they didn't. Dude, look it up.
They kept playing more years.
Look it up.
They kept
Urlacher.
playing.
No,
Urlacher left. Urlacher retired as a Bear.
Okay, he got old. It had nothing to do with the 3-4.
Well, he didn't want to. He said he didn't want to be a part of a new regime again.
Yeah, that was the Emory regime. We're talking about the Pace regime. He inherited the mess from after the Mel Tucker nonsense.
Hey guys. Let me be honest with you. Everything you just talked about for the last 2 minutes happened over 10 to 15.
I know Joel always bring this up.
No.
He's just like, you can switch things over.
Like, I'm be honest with you, we don't care. Like, no, it's done.
He says that. All I said was, he's the one that said it, not me. All I said was, their defense is not built yet. We have a good secondary. We just got to get the D line right. And he said, you can't switch people over. And then we went down this rabbit hole.
Yeah, you get it. My whole point is, right, that Joel taking me down rabbit holes out here. Hey yo, that's crazy.
It's like a Brady Bunch, like square.
But no, my whole point with it is, right, like, no matter what the situation is, if it's the right coach makes all the difference. Miami was a bad football team.
Can I say this though?
Miami's now a good football
I'm
team.
gonna just add this in there, right? And this is gonna be me tongue in cheek saying that Tua is a good quarterback at this point, because Tua is a good quarterback.
I mean, he's a good quarterback. You don't have to
Well,
tongue
now
in
he
cheek.
is.
Listen,
Is.
Now he is.
dog, you don't understand how much I was against Tua. That ball lofted so much in the air, it looked weird. It's
Hey,
like
it
it's gonna
still
be
do.
picked every single
It
time.
still do.
It
Gotta flip
still
that thing
does. It
around.
just
You gotta flip it around.
Y'all ever play Tecmo Bowl?
Yeah.
Yeah.
When that ball is in the air, he's like you think it's gonna get picked up every single. That's how his throws look. It just looked animated. Anyway, that being said, you know the biggest thing about Mike Tomlin is on a hot seat, right? Mainly because he doesn't have a what?
Quarterback.
Bill Belichick is mainly on the hot seat because of what?
Quarterback.
Nah, Bill Belichick has had horrible drafts over the last 2 years too.
He
No,
could
that's
have a
that
receiver.
Hey,
That-
look,
He'll have
name
a
me,
receiver.
a, name me a Bill Belichick draft pick since
Kareem said he's a lefty.
No, that's the fact though.
No, that's a fact.
because he's
Oh,
a
that's
lefty.
a-
he's talking about Tua.
Tua,
talking about
yeah.
Tua. No,
Because
I
he a
told-
I
lefty.
thought he
is
was on hot
weird.
seat because he's a lefty. Sorry.
I literally told Kid flip the tape around and it looked
Tape
better.
looked
And when
totally
you flip
better,
it around,
dog.
it looked completely different.
I
You
was
be like, oh, he
"Dad,
look like a
you
normal
look good
quarterback.
now."
Your brain can't your brain can't deal with it.
all I'm saying is, no matter what we talking about, it's gonna boil down to this quarterback. If you have any question marks with your quarterback, nothing else matters. When you got the number 1 pick coming up, potentially 2 top 10 picks, potentially. Like I get, we got all this other stuff we need to build and stuff like
Yeah,
that.
but you know what?
One thing all the pundits and all the pros and everything else agree with. If you have a question at this position, you are still stuck. And at this point, this defense is good. You know what would have helped this defense when we was up against what's the name? If we scored on the other end. If we scored on the other end, Joe Flacco, it don't matter what Joe Flacco do.
Yeah, but I think that goes to again the execution.
And we
on
have
the
4
field, which
opportunities to do
again
it.
goes
If
back
we
to coaching.
score, Joe Flacco just pick
No.
up 212 yards. It don't
Not
matter.
blaming that on the
It's good for
quarterback.
his
They
career. It
had
don't matter
nothing
against us.
to lose.
But well, I mean, the Bears don't either. The Bears ain't no good either. But
And
I
they
think
play like
the
some
thing
bucks. It's like
is-
you have nothing to lose. Just
yeah,
let it ride.
and this is the thing, right? The mindset of your team is whatever right your head coach puts out there, and I think that's the biggest problem with this Bears team. When I hear Matt Eberflus say, I'm involved in the offensive play calling as well. That's the worst thing you ever could have said to me, because now it just confirms, right? These 3 games that we lost, where all of a sudden the offense basically said, all right, we're going to tuck our tail in and we're going to try to get the heck up out of here. That tells me that your mindset is permeating on the offensive side of the ball as well, because we had no problem moving the ball on Detroit. Heck, we showed it in the second game against them when they literally knew everything we were going to do. Right, like we had no problems moving the ball against Detroit. Why did we stop moving the ball? Oh, well, all right, let's just be safe here, guys. Let's get up out of here. Like, to me, even if you have questions at the quarterback position, here's my thing. I've seen questionable quarterback play look better with good coaching. I've seen questionable offenses look better when the right coach shows up. I've seen questionable defenses look better when the right coach shows up, because they know how to put you in the right positions. And when you don't have the right dude at the front, you're always going to look bad on the back end. And I just really believe, like, to me, the quarterback conversation, like, yeah, would Matt Eberflus look better, or would Luke Getsy look better if Aaron Rodgers was standing back there? Probably. But it
Bailing him
also
out.
goes into the fact that Aaron Rodgers is just like, you're an idiot. I need you to sit over there.
Yeah, you know how to go out of these dumb calls that you play. Like, we're seeing a prime example in San Francisco. They took a 7th round quarterback, insulated him with a great offensive line with great players around him, and he has a little bit of talent, and they're able to nurture that. We've seen plenty of examples. Like I said, the Seattle Seahawks won a Super Bowl with a rookie or a second year. Russell Wilson was his
I
second
think
year.
he was in his second year.
Yeah, he was limited as a pass. They protected him. They ran the ball. They had a
Ran the
great
heck out of that
defense.
football.
So the point is, like,
When
it
you
can.
got beast mode on
Hey,
you don't have no
power.
choice. But hey, listen, you have one of the best running backs in history. You run the ball.
Well,
Yeah, but I think even with this Bears team, right, we saw our running backs have great success, and then your offensive coordinator said, no, we're going to start doing run by committee. When we saw them have great success, it's because Deontay Foreman was getting 18 runs. It's because Khalil Herbert was getting 18 runs in the game. They was able to move the football down the field. We had one of the best run games without Justin Fields running the football in the NFL. And then everybody was like, well, why did you sit Deontay Foreman? Why did you not sit Khalil Herbert? Why did you start asking questions because of the one game where everybody got hurt? Now we got to keep both guys on the roster, and we got to make sure that both guys are happy. No, somebody ain't gonna play. Somebody's getting 18 carries, somebody's not.
The other thing
that's
what
when you see great coaches. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, my fault. But I was gonna say the only thing you gotta look at too is Caleb Williams really a short thing? I mean, if you was to ask, like, if you grade Justin Fields on a scale of 1 to 10, and you grade Caleb Williams on a scale of 1 to 10, is it that much of a difference in gap? Even if Caleb Williams is better, is he significantly better, or are they just that close? Because if they're just that close, then you might as well keep the quarterback you have in terms of their potential.
Nah, if they close, you gotta take the better one, because if they're close and he's a rookie, I mean, he got a higher ceiling.
No, well, I guess what I mean is like their ceiling, their potential. So like if they're the ceiling of the potential, if it's that close, I know you're saying like right now, but like if the ceiling is that close,
no, bro,
why move on from what you already have?
Because
your point,
you're comparing a rookie versus a 3-year vet, which is something you should never do. If you can compare a rookie versus a 3-year vet, then you should get the vet out of there. You take the
right.
Rookie.
You take that means that you've already fast forwarded the setbacks that we've had to experience with Fields growing to a certain point. We're already at a point where he's already at this level, and now I got 5 years to pay this guy before he gets paid 2 or 3 or 400 million.
Second point, so you got to look at what you build around him. You can build a better team around a rookie if they are comparable, because now you can really build that team that they built around Russell Wilson when he won that Super Bowl. Because you can pay everybody else to ensure that I got a good line, I got a good defense and stuff like that, because I don't have to pay the most expensive person on the team.
Yeah. I think too, getting it would, to me, it's a disservice if we draft and use that number 1 pick without being able to really build our team. There aren't a lot of free agents out here for you to really build your team. You are actually able to fast forward rebuilding this squad. So it makes more sense to keep Fields, and just in case he doesn't pan out, you don't have to pay him for another 2 years. But the idea is that we've used those picks, leveraged, and got more draft capital. We got more linemen, we're able to build this squad up. And I hope that Fields does well, right? And then we get to keep him. But if he doesn't, it didn't really kill you, because you got the 4th year. And if you tag him for the 5th year, and then because you traded and maybe got more picks, and they're at the same point of like, okay, we got 2 number 1s or 3 number 1s, you're able to still trade and use that as draft capital regardless. Yeah. So I think it's better for us to continually build this team. I would work with Fields and try to get him to be that guy that we all think that he can be. And
here's my thing. At the end of the day, my GM has set me up in a perfect position for anything to happen. Yep. My GM has set me up in a perfect position for every scenario to play out. By the way, 109 people here, 31 likes. Hit the like button, bro. What y'all on?
And subscribe.
Like, my GM has put me in a perfect position to do whatever he needs to do to build his vision. And I have a GM right now that I look at and I say the biggest misstep is trading for Chase Claypool.
That's it.
Okay. He took a swing on a player that I thought had a high ceiling as well, that had a great rookie season with a really good quarterback and, has attitude issues. Maybe you could fix attitude issues if you're in the right situation. Like, I'm willing to see I'd rather see a GM take a swing on a player like that where it's like talent out of this world. He got some attitude issues, because a lot of times the dudes with attitude issues are really good. But yeah, like I would rather see that than see a guy who, like how Jerry Angelo and Ted Phillips were, just scared to go after the guys that have some what is it, morals issues, or they're going to represent the brand of the Chicago Bears. But I don't care. Can he play on the field? The brand is on the field, right? Yeah, like I could care less about all of the extracurricular stuff.
So what?
That's literally a violent sport. Why are you worried about that?
Yeah, like we wanted Jerry Angelo wanted church boys out there. Yeah, I mean, he wanted guys that were like kumbaya in the locker room, and it's like, no, dog, I want dudes that like they'll take your socks after they knock you out. You know what I mean? Like,
I want my linebackers to eat with their hands, not with foot.
I want McGilla Gorillas. I want them to tie the
Why
socks around their
though?
face mask. And they like high five, like we took his socks.
Hey, my G, where'd you get that analogy from?
Patrice O'Neal. That's one of the greatest jokes ever. He said football was a violent sport. He said then all these analytic mugs wanted to get into it. Now they trying to make it soft. It's like back in the day, we'll take your socks.
I like Trevor's point. My thing with Caleb, like everybody keeps talking about, I don't like that he didn't show up against Notre Dame. I don't like
He's
that
a
he didn't show
diva.
up against the top. I didn't like that. And
Caleb is in a situation. Everybody thinks because these mugs get paid now, which is the dumbest thing in the world, right? He makes what is it, $2 million a year? You're a working man. Shut up. He's an 18-year-old kid.
That man paid
19-year-old kid, whatever he is, however old he is, right? I don't care how much money gets paid. The adults in the room need to turn him into a leader, like the people, like when you go sit in these people mama's rooms and you tell them that, like you're supposed to do. I'm looking at Lincoln Riley and I'm like, Lincoln Riley, you should not allow Caleb Williams to not go stand up at the podium after the game is over. You shouldn't allow Caleb Williams not to have a locker room scrum around him after the game is over because, oh, he was upset. He's sensitive. I could care less about all of that. Now, as far as the pressure around him, listen,
I gotta ask
6'1" Justin Field.
I gotta ask this though. Why is everybody just so hell bent on Caleb Williams? Like he didn't even win
because he won a Heisman last year.
He's not even the best QB this season coming out of college.
Well, he's like
he's top 3, but he ain't the best.
Well, he was lighting it up last year.
He looked good. He looked real good last year.
The thing is that the team isn't as good, so him trying to overcome all that type of stuff. I just think that everybody's raving about him. I mean, the idea is that he's what is they say he's all
probably
these
the best quarterback
one.
in this draft. I ain't gonna lie to you.
Jaden Daniels actually.
Jaden Daniels won the Heisman.
Absolutely,
Jaden Daniels won the Heisman, but Jaden Daniels' schedule was nowhere near what Caleb Williams' schedule was. Jaden Daniels was playing me, you, JC, and C-Dub. Some of them games. That game where he ran for 500 yards, it was against like North Chicago State. Like, you know what I mean? Like I love it. I love Jaden Daniels. I think he's got potential. I like what the kid could be. I would like to take a late flyer on him. But my issue with Caleb Williams is you're not changing anything.
Which is
I like what Steve was saying.
Caleb Williams is 6'1" Justin Fields.
And that's what I'm saying. Like,
well, yes or no?
They're basically the same type of player, but like you said, shorter. So it's like, you giving up
6'1"
a guy that is a true like Justin Fields is well liked by his locker room. He's a true leader. He's shown you that when he faces adversity, he's able to overcome it and get better and realize, okay, you know what? That's on me. He takes accountability. These are intangibles that I don't even think Caleb Williams is showing right now.
He's a diva.
So if you're considering the face of your franchise to be what you call a diva, a guy that's basically the same type of quarterback you already have, but smaller, I think it will be fool's gold to try to wish for the grass being green about drafting that rookie quarterback. Instead, trade back, get more assets, build around Justin Fields, and we got us a Philadelphia team like that's compete for Super Bowl next year.
Man, who are you to say that you want part ownership of a team? You haven't even hit the league yet. He's literally going to be the NFL version of James Harden.
That report wasn't real, dog. There's nothing been substantiated about that report.
Yeah, okay. All right. Now when I'm
gonna be honest with you, the type of player. Hey, look, and even if he do, no.
mentality again. That's what I'm saying. Like, I'm gonna pass on him in a heartbeat. If his IQ and his mentality is like that, you painting your nails and you doing all this stuff, and you can't even speak before the media in a loss like that. Those are things that I'm looking at now as leadership qualities. You're not even showing that at the college level. So yeah,
I'm not expecting no kid to show that.
Justin Fields did that in college. Justin Fields
was very mature in college. But Ohio State was preparing him to be a leader. That's why I say I look at the question marks on Caleb Williams as the sins of the adults in the room. Because yes, he did that at Ohio State, but also his coach required him to do that. His coach wasn't going to let him go hide in the locker room because his feelings were hurt that day. His coach wasn't going to let him not have a locker room scrum because he had a bad game that day. Yeah, I mean, like that's the part for me where I look at Caleb Williams and I'm like, yes, he's behind the 8 ball as far as a leader, but his coaching staff is the reason for it, right? If the coach tells you got to go out there and face the music and you say no, then yeah, we substantiate all of that stuff.
But
Caleb
doesn't
was not
he?
even the
Doesn't
quarterback
he?
I had in mind.
But doesn't he do a lot of off the script type stuff? I mean, everybody raves about his off
No, he's
script.
legitimately Justin Fields at 6'1".
But I mean, he's run like
He's
the
literally
idea is that he's able to extend plays and all that type of stuff. And the issue is, will he be able to read the defense? Will he the same problems we're having here? But do we have someone that's going to develop him? Because the thing is, everybody talks about the Mahomes thing. He went to the right situation, right? Because he was running all around at Texas Tech. If you watch some of the things he was doing.
Yeah, and by the way,
thank you.
Hey, and by the way, for all of y'all that are sitting there, he plays in the talk about Jaden Daniels. He plays in the SEC. That's where the dogs are. He played Texas A&M, not ranked. He played the Georgia State Panthers, trash. He ran like 700 yards on them, pretty much. He played Florida, who was garbage this year. But Florida a little up and down. Played Army. Played Auburn.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and the teams that were top 20 ranked, he got cooked.
And he
got destroyed by Alabama. He competed with Mississippi. I give him Mississippi. He competed with Mississippi. Got cooked by FSU though, right? Like his strength of schedule was nowhere near the same.
Yeah. And again, to keep it simple, if we're
difference.
calling him 6'1" Justin Fields, why are we wasting our time on thinking that we're
I don't like using that as a barometer as to whether or not we should take a college QB, because if we look at Justin Fields' college experience in Ohio, he had like the best O-line there. He could take a nap in that pocket. He literally did everything that you can't do in the NFL.
And he did good, right?
He did very good though.
In the NFL.
No, he did good, right?
Doesn't mean it.
Time out. If I took, I'm gonna use my own. I'm gonna use my own guy. If I took Mitchell Trubisky and gave him 6 seconds in the pocket, he could carve somebody up.
No, he couldn't.
Yeah,
he had that in North Carolina.
I was going to say, issue with his.
I was going to say, Mitchell Trubisky had an offensive line in North Carolina.
His arm is not as good as Justin Fields.
It took him 4 years.
You can name an average QB in this league if you gave him time in the pocket. In fact, we've been quoted on this one. All of us saying you give an average QB time in the pocket, he can carve you up. That's what Justin Fields had in college. We've all said it.
The point is that what you
so
just
like
said,
at this point, I'm not going to use that against him. It's like, all right, yeah, like he got cooked by these teams.
But if you give him time, give him a line.
I don't think we're arguing different points. Like the problem is that Jaden Daniels didn't perform against top competition. I like Jaden Daniels. I think that he might be a sleeper in the draft. I'm not taking him early.
Did he have the same team as the person we're comparing him to in college?
Did he have the same team? No, he had a worse defense.
He had a worse defense. Did he have a worse offensive line?
I take that back. Whatchamacallit has no defense. So
did he have a worse offensive line than Justin had in college?
Than Justin had in college, yeah.
Okay, then it's not apples to apples. We can stop it.
Do you get strength of schedule?
Even still,
do you get strength of schedule at all? Because you're talking about apples to apples. I'm talking about competition. I'm talking about competition.
Not here.
It's the same thing here.
When he competed against the top 20, he got cooked. I'm like, well, he also didn't have the team to compete with them.
Justin Fields went to the national championship when he competed against the top 20. What are you talking
about?
But he also had one of the better constructed teams to even be in that situation.
But he put him in that situation. You
could argue that, but I could also argue that he had hella time in the pocket. He had all this time.
You're right, but he still did what he was supposed to do.
Again, you still got to build the team. How am I going to cook this one player on his ability if he doesn't have the team to compete?
So why would we leverage?
You're trying to argue college football when Justin Fields played top competition every single week, and Jaden Daniels literally played teams that you just heard of right now.
I just said. They did not have the same strength of team. They didn't have the same team. I can't blame Jaden Daniels because he didn't have the same team.
No,
he didn't have the same type of offensive line.
Play
like
against the same level of teams.
I know that, but he also didn't have the same, meaning he never had the same talent around him. Ohio State has a lot of people.
Ohio State has a ton of talent.
That's all they have is talent, dog. like
Yeah.
realistically, that's all they always have. Going back to we did this separately.
I'm just
So you
confused. What
still
are you
need
arguing
talent,
right now?
but you still need talent. The whole
I
point is
don't
that
even know what he's arguing right now.
Don't
He
even
like,
worry about
but
it,
Justin Fields had more talent, so he played better people.
and then we're going to go
Jaden
down to the
Daniels-
Lakeshore Drive,
Right,
and then
like-
we're going to take it to Soldier Field, and yar!
Jaden
Hey.
Daniels played
Hey,
the
he
level
paused-
of
he paused
talent
at, like,
that he
the
was
right
going
moment.
against. Like, what are you talking about?
This
Like, his camera
this
froze at the
actually
right moment when
should
he did
kind of
it.
kill this argument because Trevor Rogers just put it simply. So if Justin has talent around him, then he'd be good, then, right?
That's what I've been trying to say.
If
You
we
gotta
get
st-
better
There you go.
people around Justin, then that
That's
means he's
kind of
gonna
the thing.
translate what he did from Ohio State. to
everybody
here.
that does well,
time out,
in
time out, time
Alabama has great talent, right?
Time out.
And then you got these
No,
quarterbacks.
That's not what that means in
Huh?
this case. Exactly. Like sincerely,
Huh?
we
What
all
is
know
it?
that I've always said
And
that he
this
could be a
is
star.
how you pivot.
Oh, I ain't gotta pivot on nothing. You all can like kiss my behind on that one. Like I'm not pivoting off of it. Like Justin Fields in the NFL, just whatever he did in college doesn't always translate to the NFL. And at the
No,
end of
that's
the
fact.
day, the
That's-
the
Rex was a
learning
really
curve
good
and
college
all is
quarterback.
what you're seeing. Like I
lot of
can't
guys with
say
great
that Justin
quarterbacks
Fields
in
with number one
college.
receiver looked pretty good, but I also saw him staring down Darnell Mooney, not even giving him the rock. Like there's still things there that again in 5 years is Justin Fields going to be an all-star in this league, a Pro Bowl in this league? Sure. But that's not what we're running into. If we had the time, this isn't even a question. We're
But
talking about
if-
in this situation, given this context, how does that work out? It don't work out. It ain't been working out.
Yes, it
So it don't
does.
matter what he
Man.
did in college and stuff like that. You're in this situation. The only reason why we're in this situation right now to have 2 number 1 picks, 2 top 10 picks is honestly because we suck.
No, you're talking about not wanting to pay.
Well, no, it's because
Fields in 2
Carolina sucks.
years.
I said the
Right.
reason why we in to have 2.
Yeah, but
I
the
mean,
issue is
yeah,
the
yeah,
whole
the
point is
whole
about
league-
Where are we
paying.
like number 9 now?
Yeah, the whole league is like 5-9. Like I ain't worried about that. I look at I think like the argument that you're making. Okay, fine. Like you want to reset the rookie clock. All right, that's cool. To me, the part that don't make no sense is he's gonna be a Pro Bowler All-Star in 2 years
So you believe that?
somewhere else.
So let's do it here. And
Like
give
that's
him a
my
team.
thing, right? Like if you believe that he has that level of talent, then you just build that here. That's what I really want to see what
Build
Ryan
where he
Poles
goes.
is going to be able to do, right? Like
I
you go
build
get an
where he
offensive
goes.
line, you go get wide receivers, you go get the right coaching staff. And I love when people are like, so he needs the perfect scenario to be successful. So does Brock Purdy. So
So
does
does Aaron
Jalen Hurts.
Rodgers. So does Aaron
So does
Rodgers.
Aaron, so did
So
Aaron
did Tom
Rodgers.
Brady.
Well, no, I ain't gonna say
Nah,
that.
No,
yeah,
Tom
yeah,
Brady.
yeah.
Why
Yeah,
didn't
say
Tom
that.
Brady go to the Jets
Now,
or come
Tom
to
Brady,
Chicago?
yes.
He
Tom
went to
Brady
the
needed that offensive line.
He went to a ready-made team. They had a defense, an offensive line. They had, and he brought Gronk with him. They had receivers. He had Mike Evans. Oh, look at that! Tom Brady's the greatest of all time. Why didn't he just go to San Diego? Why didn't he go to just a
I
team
mean,
that?
he could have gone
Hey,
to San Diego.
Hey, you see that offensive line?
That's what I'm saying. So stop. You got to build the team up, and all we're saying is that if you believe Fields can do it, so what if you got to pay him? If it gets to a point, they'll get creative. That's 2 years down the road. But like my point is like if we build this team technically, if he takes this other step, and you got the run and you got the offense, the defense is cooking. Why would we not actually be a playoff contender next year? We're on the cusp. We're a few bad play calls away from being what 8, 9, and we should be what 9 and 3, 8 and yeah, or we have 5 and 9.
5
So
and
we
9.
had right. So we should be 8 and my math's off. We should be having a winning squad.
Nobody helped him.
It's like,
Nobody
I was
helped
following
him.
you for a second.
I'm
Like, I don't
so
know.
ready to eat right
Ain't
now.
nobody
I'm
helped
waiting.
him.
I'm
I'm
just
like,
waiting to eat.
hey, I would say this. I would answer
The
this
whole
to
point
you
is
off
that
too.
we're a few plays, or we were a few bad coaching decisions away from having a winning team. So either the coaching has to be improved, but we have some things in place. But
I will
build
say this:
lineup.
you are coaching decisions away from the narrative on Justin Fields being 210% different.
Yep.
Because every game we lost, he put you in a position to win them.
if
we play
Tunyon catches
Whole
that,
different narrative.
yeah, there's a lot of stuff that happens that
That the Denver game, the
scores
first
for the
first
trenches, my
Detroit
real
game,
friend.
like
my real
Justin
friend.
Fields
Detroit
is 6'3"
game
and still
for
can't see
Detroit
the whole
game for
field. That's
sure.
a fact.
I'll give you that one.
The Detroit game and the Denver game. The Denver game, we were up 21-3 at the half. We were up 28 to 14.
14
with 6 minutes to go. You're not supposed to lose that game.
I'm just disappointed.
And he put you in a position to kick what could have been the game-winning field goal. And Flus was like, nah, I'm cool. And then the next week he was like, hey, we kicking nothing but field goals, baby. No matter what, field goals, baby. Like,
why did you do that?
And then they did it in Cleveland. They could have. They didn't even kick. They
couldn't have kicked that field goal.
No,
they
but
couldn't have made that.
They had two situations where they could have done some stuff like that. But the other
that halftime when they would have made that field goal.
But the indictment is that this coaching staff has not had.
No one wants to hear that, Pat.
No. But there was other instances in Cleveland that I can kind of give you the 55 and the win.
They wouldn't have made it. The wind blowing away from them. Yeah, it's over.
I got you. Well, my issue is that this coaching staff did not have this team prepared in the beginning of the season. It's been very up and down, very sporadic with the offensive play calling. Now, it's sad that Montez Sweat getting here almost automatically transform this defense. Also, with who is that? Phil Snow.
I think it makes sense.
Phil Snow came in.
The moment you
Phil Snow coming in and helping out.
Phil Snow, but pair that Phil Snow coming.
Yeah.
But my issue is that we've seen a lot of coaching blunders, and then we've also seen offensive play call blunders in terms of how you manage a game, and you're not using your skills. You're not using your players. We definitely have an earth, wind, and fire situation. We got 3 capable running backs, and we don't use them right. And they put everything, but we're putting everything on Fields, and he's still developing. Huh?
They should not have tried to kick that field goal because the storyline the next morning would have been, why would you call for a field goal with 15 mile an hour wind going the opposite direction?
The storyline wouldn't have changed because at the half, you going for a Hail Mary regardless. I'm fine with you going for a Hail Mary in that situation because I think Fields' arm is stronger than Cairo's leg, but. I also just don't think that Cairo, that's a bad situation for him. Fine. The wind is blowing at him. I don't care about that. The field goal that I care about is when you go for it on 4th and 1. And I actually like the aggressiveness of it. Going for it on 4th and 1, you're gonna do a little end around play with Justin. He sneaks out, you kept the ball in your play call and say, I love the aggressiveness on that. I hate the execution.
I just wish
the players got to execute. Darnell Mooney, I don't care what excuse you give. That man was standing right in front of you. You can't throw a block.
Hey, Pat, and guess what? We wanted something exotic. We wanted some creativity and stuff like that. And he gives it to us and they'll execute it. It's like, that's his fault. It's like, nah. It's like,
but I'm saying why the
Tyler Scott end around is his fault. That's dumb. You got two 235-pound dudes that can run straight up the middle for a yard. You get a yard.
I don't understand the logic of passing 40 times in the rain and you don't allow Fields to extend plays with his legs. He should have been doing that. They didn't allow him to play. I think that's where you allowed him to play his game because you have nothing to lose. And the other problem I had too was that we lose that game, but they're blaming Fields. But the main thing is that someone missed the tackle on Amari Cooper. You sat there and tried to hit stick a guy instead of wrapping up, and that was a broken play. And they ran up, and he scores that touchdown off a broken play. Then you got another dumb call where Justin Jones, right? Justin Jones is covering a freaking tight end. It's like these are coaching blunders, but Fields is trash. It's like the defense, the pressure gets to Eberflus where you don't know how to handle a situational football. There's a lot of issues. So I would be mad if we were able to move on from him because he's not learning. He's done this too many times in the same season.
Hey, I always say at the end of the day, no matter what, I'm kind of just rolling with this because I think decisions are already made. I think the last 3 weeks is just making stuff look good one way or the other. If Justin Fields is going to be here, Ryan Poles is going to pay him, and it's going to be a half of the city. It's like, what are you doing? And then if Justin Fields is not, then it's going to be the other half of the city. Like, what are you doing? But at the end of the day, my GM is putting me in a position where I got options.
GM.
And when did you get a blue and orange GM hat? You just ordering GM hats?
My wife, my loving wife surprised me because I was like, you know what? I need to get a Bears colored one GM hat. And so she surprised the mess out of me and got me one. I was like, oh, you're so sweet. So shout out to my baby.
Oh, you're adorable. But no, no matter what the decision that's
what
made,
up, Jay Jonah?
I trust Ryan Poles to make the right decision, and I feel like that to me is the best thing that the Bears have moving forward, man. We were supposed to talk Bulls, but we spent an entire hour on Bears, which
The
is
Bulls are
hilarious
great.
because
Bulls
we
are
came
awesome.
into this came into this conversation literally not knowing
Joe
what we
gave
were going to talk about.
texted all of us on the Bulls.
Hey,
Bulls are gonna
Bulls
win.
are having a better season
I'm about
right now.
to
They got
watch
a
them
heck
now.
of a
Hey,
run.
hold on. Here you go. Joe, what are your thoughts on the Bulls?
I think the Bulls are going to do great because they're doing good now. You know, Zach LaVine has been sitting down, so now Kobe White is ascending as an all-star because we finally are seeing true talent come through. So yeah.
Oh yeah.
They tease me there like I don't care about the Bulls.
Man,
I'm tired of watching the
Bro, you don't care about basketball.
Bulls.
It's
I
fine,
do
bro.
care about basketball.
Bro, how many NBA games you watched this year?
That is not the point. Point.
You don't
He
care
couldn't
about
even lie
basketball.
to us. He couldn't even lie to us.
Hey, bro,
I don't remember.
he ain't watched
That
one
is-
NBA game.
I did.
this
No,
year,
I
bro.
did. I did. Remember, we were watching that at the studio.
That
So,
one
we
Bulls
were.
game when you was on the
I
live call?
That one.
You
That
weren't
one
even paying
game.
attention. That's the
A
funny
couple
part.
times. I was. We were eating.
Man was
hanging
eating
out.
a Hibarito.
My problem is that we're watching the same regurgitated team of being an average basketball squad. I wasn't motivated to watch this team.
Hey, they look good now,
look
man.
good.
Honestly, if you look at this team now, I'm not trying to say that they're going to be like a top 3 team, but they look like a top 5 team in the East right now.
Facts.
It's a lot of season left. That's
Let's
what
go.
I'll say. It's a lot of
I
season.
mean,
7-3. Hey, they're shooting over 50% in the 3-point.
Hey, listen.
range,
I've been doing this a long time. I've seen the Bulls have a 10-game run.
I've been doing this a long time.
Yeah, I mean, hey, look, I watched Nikola Mirotic go off in February. Yeah, man. What'd that do? It got us set. Right. I watched Bobby Portis cook in the month of December, although that one might have been real. We traded him like that wasn't real. That one might have been real.
it would be interesting that based off of the history under the Garpax regime, like not allowing guys to really develop, because it's always the narrative like people leave Chicago and then take off. So maybe with Kobe White, like, okay, that was a Garpax pick. They're still holding on to him, and now he's starting to develop. And we might have these same situations with some of the guys that we're developing. Like, it might be a painstakingly process to watch P. Will. Maybe he does turn into the guy that they want him to.
Hey,
another 2 years from now.
I said this on Locked On Bulls, and I'll say it here. P. Will turned himself into a nice little role player without Zach LaVine on the floor, and I never thought that was going to happen.
There's more basketball to go around.
Wait. He's still a bust.
Nah.
Hey man, you get out of here.
But listen, at this point, it's okay if you're a bust if I can put you on the floor and you can have talent. It was some moments where it was like, hey, I want to argue for you, my boy, but I got nothing.
Hey,
They gave that man a whole nickname. They called him the Paw with Kawhi Leonard now.
That's Stacey King. Come on now.
Hey, listen, Kawhi Leonard out here dropping 30 a game. They called Kawhi Leonard. I mean, Patrick Williams, the second coming of Kawhi Leonard.
But
yeah, that was crazy.
Okay, so the question is like now the issue with Zach having low IQ, right? In terms of situational basketball, knowing what to do. So clearly, and it shows you the weakness of a team, right? All the players have to be in sync. So yes,
no, I think it's more.
Are we seeing smarter?
No, I think the voice is just the voice means more now with the Bulls, right? Kobe White everybody been saying all year. Kobe White has been an absolute douchebag.
Yeah, he's very vocal.
And he's been very vocal about what the Bulls need to do, and he has not been holding his tongue at all. But that message don't hit when you putting up 15 points in the game. Right? Like you kind of gotta have that moment, right? Like when Draymond Green became, the vocal leader for that team is because he punched somebody in the face for his teammate, right? You're not gonna hurt Steph. Now he ain't really punched somebody in the face in that situation, but you're not gonna hurt Steph. You're not gonna take away what we got building here. So I'm going to take this on. I'm going to get guys fired up. I'm going to make this happen. Right? And listen, when he did that and to Kevin Durant got in his feelings about it and left. Like, everybody can't deal with that.
The one.
And only one of those two people has won a ring since then.
The one take on Zach LaVine I thought was interesting. And so I want to quote this podcaster for it. It was like when Zach was coming up in Chicago, who was his vet?
They didn't have none.
It was Thaddeus, wasn't it? Wasn't it Thaddeus?
Thad Young, yeah, technically Thad Young. He did have Thad Young.
But he didn't have a vet really to coach him through winning situations, like closeout game situations, if you really think.
No, Thad Young had been with him everywhere.
You know what I'm saying? So like he didn't have that opportunity. He didn't even have the coaching staff for it. Whereas you come now into a situation where you've seen Billy Donovan, who's been in these situations prior to coming to Chicago. You have AK, who's developed this particular team. These young players now have an advantage that Zach never had. And then you bring in DeMar. But by now, Zach is already who Zach is. Zach is 28. We're comparing him to Kobe White, who's 5 years younger, who's still forming, like figuring out who he is as a ball player on the court. So like now they have a better example to learn how to close out games and win. And I never thought of it like that before until today. But it's it's an interesting thought process.
But they always had that veteran example.
Jay Jonah.
DeMar DeRozan been there for 2.5 years now.
Yeah, but Zach was already who he was by the time DeMar came, is what I'm saying. Whereas Kobe was still figuring himself out. P. Will, rookie, coming into his own, stuff like that. They have just a better example at that.
That's fine, but I think for me, I look at it and I'm like, okay, yeah, he's got they have a better example now, but also it didn't take an impact till just now. We talk about 10 games, and again, we're still talking about 10 games, right? This could all fall off a cliff, but I love that. I'm not like the part of the game that I'm seeing, the part of the game that I'm seeing that didn't happen 11 games ago, 12 games ago, 13 games ago was a vocal leader actually having an impact. And I saw Kobe White in the first quarter versus that Philadelphia 76ers game go, there's no way we finna lose this game. I'm not sitting here letting y'all lie down and not do nothing. We got to go. He's yelling at Vooch about missing his defensive assignments. He's yelling at, and guess what? They're listening. Like that's the part that I don't get. DeMar, Zach,
you got a dog.
Vooch, it is whoever it is.
But you got
that's
a
the
dog
part that nobody was listening. You didn't have that, and every team that has success has at least somebody that's like, no, I'm not gonna let y'all lie down and die.
Well, we got a new Jimmy, right? We got a guy that wants to win and play.
And nobody wanted Jimmy.
No,
right? Like, everybody was like, "Oh, my feelings are hurt."
Right,
and he got to Atlanta. And was like, "I'll fight you in the back room right now." Jimmy was like, "Oh, my people."
That's all. You just want some dogs that want to win, and that's what we want. It's the same thing with the Bears, and we just want players that are willing to, that want to win, that got some heart.
Somebody in the chat said, "What's it going to take to get Joel to watch basketball?" Kobe White has to start chewing bubble gum and leaning on his back leg.
Who said that? Where?
And shave his hair off.
Somebody, it went past. Somebody upset said, "What's it gonna take to get Joe to start watching basketball?" Kobe White gonna have to start chewing bubble gum and leaning on the back leg when people talk trash to him.
And shave his head off.
Shave his head off.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh, he talking? Oh, he talking? No, Mike. He don't know how we do. He was like,
"Oh,
no, okay. Keep killing it."
Hey man, we appreciate y'all for tuning in, showing love. Hit that like button, subscribe to the page, leave that 5-star review. Y'all already know what to do. I got the playback side up. If you guys are interested in jumping in with us on playback, tune in with us. I'll actually drop that link in the chat as well. I'm gonna be watching this game tonight over here, and reacted to it live. So rock with us on that. Hey, as always, for the super producer Joel Holt, the pettiest man alive, Mr. P Kid, JC, and C Dub. It's your boy Pat the Designer back at it again. Y'all stay safe out there, Chicago. One love. He said Kobe White need to braid dash. No, don't you tell Kobe White to change nothing.
No.
Floppy
that
hair
is what's getting him to
floppy hair Kobe. Hey, that hair be
that's his power, baby.
That's
hey,
his
that hair be
power.
fouls too.
He looks like
foul. Kobe throw that head back. That hair be.
He looks like Animal from Sesame Street.
Hey, he look like Sonic, boy. Yeah.
Y'all stay safe out there, Chicago.